Good morning. I am Deborah Donovan, Chair of the Data Governance Committee, present in the MDE State Boardroom in Jackson, Mississippi. This meeting of the Data Governance Committee is being held today, Friday, the 4th of June, 2021 at 9 a.m. pursuant to Mississippi Code annotated section 25415 with some committee members present via teleconference. The notice of this meeting included the date, time, place, and purpose has been posted, and an audio recording is being made of this meeting, and minutes of this meeting will be recorded. So first we'll take an attendance, and as I call the names of the voting committee members, please state the location, just the city and state of your presence for this meeting. And that includes some members that we have joined by teleconference. Alan Burrow.
Alan Burrow, Jackson, Mississippi.
Joanne Malone.
Joanne Malone, 44 Boardroom, Jackson.
Amy Brown.
Amy Brown, Jackson, Mississippi.
Lorinda Harrison.
Lorinda Harrison, Jackson, Mississippi.
Jill Dent. Tanette Smith.
Testing, can y'all hear us?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let me go back then and grab a couple since we were having trouble there on the audio. Is Jill Dent? Tanette Smith?
Yes.
Tanette, what's your city and state location?
Okay. Let me type, Tanette Smith, Jackson, Mississippi.
Thank you. Judy Nelson?
Yes, Jackson, Mississippi.
Scott Clemens?
I'm here, so Ken Austin, Jackson, Mississippi.
Kristen Wynn?
Yes. Jackson, Mississippi.
Thank you. Monique Corley?
Good morning, Central Austin, Mississippi.
Lee Johnson?
Lee Johnson, Jackson, Mississippi.
Donna Hales?
Donna Hales, Jackson, Mississippi.
Beth Laughlin as proxy for Brian McGarity?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here, Jackson, Mississippi.
Sheila Franklin Bowie?
I'm here, Jackson, Mississippi.
Sandra Robertson?
Sandra Robertson, fourth floor boardroom, Jackson, Mississippi.
Marla Davis? Robin Lamonis? Wendy Clemens? Jackie Sampsell?
Present. Jackson, Mississippi.
Corey Murphy? Chauncey Spears?
Here, Jackson, Mississippi.
Sarita Donaldson?
Here, Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay. Thank you all. So we have a quorum of the committee is present at the location stated for conducting a meeting through teleconference means. Yes, and please, as a reminder, please mute your mics if you're joining us by teleconference if you're not speaking to help cut down on some of that background noise. First item on the agenda is the approval of today's agenda for the Data Governance Committee meeting. I will entertain a motion for approval of the agenda, and please identify yourself for the record.
Amy Brown, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second, Joanne Malone.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, thank you. We have 4 information items on the agenda today, so I'll go ahead and start with the first one, which is an update on the progress of Data Governance Committee and the program at MDE. So as this is the first public official meeting of the MDE Data Governance Committee, I wanted to take some time to give some background and history of data governance at MDE, as well as some high-level goals for where we are headed. Data governance is not new to MDE. There have been less formal versions of this committee in the past, both in the form of MSIS steering committees and broader data governance efforts. Since MSIS was built over 20 years ago, the agency has had some type of mechanism to deal with changes to the system. And over those past 20 years, this has been accomplished in somewhat informal means, through conversations, through meetings, collaborative work groups, other methods. And while those types of collaborations are effective for the task at hand, they can have some unintended negative consequences. And that is that the knowledge and the context and the details of the data systems are only held in the minds of the people involved in those activities. And with any agency or company, staff, turnover is an expected reality. So we find ourselves in a place where thorough knowledge of our data systems is lost through some of those transitions. In some cases, we have extensive documentation of our systems that can help mitigate those losses, but that's not always the case. The rules and the mechanisms of the data may only be found within the system itself, which is only accessible by IT staff and often without the additional context that's needed to fully understand it. So MSIS, in combination with other data systems at the MDE, contain a vast array of information. Because it's stored and managed in a technical manner, we're easily able to say what we collect, when we collect it, how we collect it, and from whom. But the aim of this Data Governance Committee is to expand on the why. Why do we collect the data, and how is it being used? This is knowledge that right now may be held in some siloed areas of the agency, or even as a collective knowledge base amongst staff, but it's not thoroughly documented and governed. It's easy to imagine a situation where a decision made in one area can have unintended consequences for another area. As you may know, we are on a data system modernization journey. Part of that journey is establishing this formalized data governance strategy that will support that modernization. To that end, and as part of the broader goals around security, privacy, and governance at MDE, we've implemented new structures around that governance in State Board Policy Rule 55.1. This committee is a part of that policy and was established through that policy. Tina Mason, our data governance manager, will be giving you a more formal description of data governance in our next presentation. But I wanted to say and point out that one of our state board goals is every community effectively using a world-class data system to improve student outcomes. In order to achieve that goal, we must increase the transparency, the understanding, and the trust in our data. I would like to, first of all, thank all of the MDE staff members who are dedicating their time and their energy to participate in this committee. And with that, we will move on to the rest of our agenda. So next up, we have an information item on the establishment of data governance from Ms. Tina Mason.
Thank you, Deborah. Get this set up. Okay. So good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining today. As the Data Governance Committee consists of representatives from each of our state boards' strategic plan goals across from the agency, and the department's vision and mission statements drives all that we do here at the agency. We have taken it a step further. We have established a vision and mission statements for data governance. And these statements are captured in our data governance charter that was executed in March, as Deborah has alluded to. And just to talk a little bit about the charter, it does describe the roles and responsibilities for the committee members. It states that the Data Governance Committee meetings will follow the Mississippi Open Meetings Act, and it establishes the structure for data governance at the department. As seen in this image, the committee is comprised of data owners, stewards, and technicians from the program office areas across the agency. All committee business will be conducted among the voting members, and that is you at the table, the data owners. Also addressed in the charter is the escalation process for unresolved issues that may occur among the committee. Those issues can be escalated to the executive leadership team by the chairperson and/or the data governance manager. If necessary, the responsibility of a final resolution will fall upon the state superintendent. And then in the case of an implementation, you would see that the opposite flow would be followed from the state superintendent down to us as the committee members. As we join together, we want to be able to address how we handle our agenda submission process. So the agenda items for the committee meetings are to be submitted by the data owners. Your data stewards are obviously there to help and assist you with any of those materials, and you would supply, along with your agenda item, any supporting documentation. The topics for the discussions will include items such as changes to a data system, any MDE data system, changes to your business rules that are affecting any data collection. You want to bring forth discussions on data definitions, quality, accessibility, use, or privacy. Any of these items could be brought before the committee. And addressing these agenda items will assure that all committee members are aware of any impact on other program areas and as well as their own, and allow for the well-informed data decisions to be made. All agenda items will go through an approval process by the chair, and then that will be communicated down to the data owners.
Thank you, Tina. Next, we have an update on data sharing agreement work group from Donna Hales.
Hello, everyone. We wanted to give you just an update just for the last couple of months about what agreements, kind of what the status is on certain data sharing agreements that are in the works. We have just recently executed an agreement with the Data Recognition Corporation, and that is for administering and reporting results for the Science 5 and 8 and end-of-course assessments in biology and U.S. history. That is a contract that's been in place and it's continuing on, so it was time for an updated agreement to be done, so that's been executed. There are two data sharing agreements that are that have been sent for signature for Questar MAP assessments and the MAP-A assessment, alternate assessment. We expect those to definitely be executed prior to July the 1st of 21, in time when the renewal of the contract to be in place. And then just a couple more others. There's a request is being drafted in-house for NSPARC to provide the National Clearinghouse data. And then we've been working with Dr. Burson, I think, on getting some instrument put into place where we provide data for the educator preparation providers, the reporting and all that's required through that. So this is kind of a new area for us, is working through that and getting some, with all the various institutions of higher learning. So that's being drafted and in the works in-house. And then we just recently executed the International Baccalaureate agreement, which is the data for the longitudinal reporting and accountability requirements on July 21, that will go through June of 22. That's it.
Thank you. And just to give a little bit of additional context around the data sharing agreement work group, that's a subgroup of this committee that meets to review and approve, modify, or reject any request for information, data elements that include personally identifiable information. So many of our vendors and other third-party research entities that are maybe conducting studies on behalf of MDE go through that process. Are there any discussions on the data sharing agreement? All right, so I'll turn it back over to Tina Mason for our next item on the roadmap for Data Governance Committee.
Thank you again. So I'm pleased to bring forward an update that's kind of showing where we were, where we are, and where we're going. As Deborah has already mentioned, we had the implementation of Rule 55.1. That is in the State Board Policy, Chapter 55, and we call it Rule 55.1, and it was updated and established this data governance program in a formal manner. During this year, 2021, so far, we've executed the Data Governance Charter, which was just this past March, and we also formally established the committee members, going through picking out who the data owners and data stewards will be. The committee has begun work on their program areas data quality plan. Many of you have started that, and we have also begun the work on the data dictionary artifact. The committee is also updating or creating, if there is a lack of, their processes and procedures, focusing on data collection within your program area. And I want to also mention that going forward, we will begin working in prioritizing, developing, and implementing data governance policies. And we will continue to improve and grow on those processes and procedures that we have begun to work on. And then once we have the official artifacts for the data governance plan and data dictionary, we will continue to do a maintenance on that, which would just include a annual process of checking through those documents and ensuring that we're correctly capturing everything. And I want to mention again, the data governance work is taking place, is impacting the ongoing MSIS 2.0 project and vice versa, as Deborah has mentioned. As we think and work toward ensuring best practices for data governance, we're also thinking and working toward a robust data system. The modernization of MSIS will impact areas of data governance such as course code updates or the change request process, and then it will also touch on the new way that we're educating our children, and that's through digital learning. So as you can see, there's many moving parts to data governance, therefore planning and preparing and implementation of all of these parts is going to be key to achieving the desired outcome for a strong and healthy data governance program here at MDE. And I echo Deborah's appreciation to all of you for being a part of this committee.
Tina, and I just want to state again, this is kind of our first formalized meeting. As we move forward, as Tina pointed out, in future meetings, we'll be looking at more data governance activities, specific items such as those data quality plans and the data dictionary work that is closely tied into our modernization efforts. As well as changes to the current system that will come here for discussion and vote on, and hopefully giving broader awareness and insight and transparency into how we're moving forward with data at MDE. Thank you. Is there any other discussion on any of those items? Our next agenda item is a vote on future meeting dates. You can see those displayed here. The proposed meeting dates are July 22nd, 2021, September 16th, 2021, and November 18th, 2021. So I will entertain a motion for approval of those dates. Please identify yourself.
Lee Johnson, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Jackie Sampson, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. All so much, and now I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Lorinda, Joanne and Lorinda second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.